A family you met a wife in, you are competing with that person. Competition everywhere. People kill themselves because of competition. And the greatest competition is internal competition. The worst and the greatest is internal battles. They are the greatest warfare. The greatest warfare of the selected are internal. The greatest warfare of the selected are internal. Do you know that when they left Egypt, the Bible says mixed multitude followed them. But when it was time for competition, it was not the mixed multitude that were in competition. It was those who were men of renown. What they call the sons of the soil. What they call those who were rooted. Those who had come from Egypt. They came and they rose up against the people and spoke against Moses, spoke against Aaron. Internal battles are always the most fierce battles of the selected. Look at a man called Moses. It was internal battle that rose up against him. Look at a man called Joseph in Genesis 37. If you read verse 5, the Bible said the brothers hated him because of his dream. It was God that gave him the dream. He didn't have the dream of his own. It was God that selected him and gave him the dream. But his brother rose up against him. Look at a man called Cain and a man called Abel. The Bible says in Genesis 4 verse 5, and Cain was wroth and angry because of the sacrifice that was given. Why was Cain angry? Because God had respect unto the sacrifice of Abel. Abel was selected, and the battle was an internal battle that rose up against him. Look at a man called David. David was anointed by God. It was God that selected David, but his brothers were angry. Do you know the selection of David? The Bible says God said to Samuel, take a horn of oil and go to the house of Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have ordained and anointed myself a king. And Samuel went to the house of Jesse the Bethlehemite. When he got to the house of Jesse, he said, where are thy sons? He saw the 7 sons of Jesse. He opened the vial of oil and he tried to turn the oil upon the first son called Ahab. The oil refused to pour. He turned the bottle and the oil refused to pour. He saw the second called Shammah. He turned the bottle. The oil refused to pour. He tried to turn on the 3rd, on the 4th, on the 5th, on the 6th, on the 7th. On the Bible says, and the oil refused to come out. And he asked a question, are these all thy sons? And the father said, there remaineth one in the bush, one that was forgotten, one that was abandoned, one that was relegated, one that was not important. He was number 8, and 8 means a new beginning. And the Bible says, send for the son. And when he came, the Bible said, prior to the time, Samuel said, we will not sit down unless he comes. We will not sit down. And I asked myself a question, why did they not sit until David came? And the Lord gave me 3 answers. He said, number 1, it was only one seat that was available, and that seat belonged to David, so they cannot sit on David's seat. I said, Lord, why did they not sit until David came? God said, number 2, when you see a VIP, you don't sit, you stand to receive a VIP. I said, Lord, why did they not sit? Number 3, God said, I wanted to punish them by making them stand until David comes. Am I talking to somebody here? David, he was on his own when God called him from the bush. Why fight a man who didn't write application for a job? In verse 28 of 1 Samuel 17, who was the person who contended David? Eliab. He said, why are you here to see the battle? We know the naughtiness of thy heart. He came to help them fight Goliath, and it was his brother who contended him. I've told you severally that the people that will fight you are those you are sent to help, because the devil wants them to be denied help. Those you are sent to help are the ones that will come against you. They don't know what they are doing. Satan wants them to be denied that help. Satan wants them to suffer perpetually. It's over time they now realize that they were fighting their star. Look at Jesus. Who rose up against Jesus? Judas. Internal contention. Internal. In verse 3 of that chapter 17, it says, select one rod that shall be the head of the house. One rod that shall be the head of the house. You can't question divine ordination. Somebody must hold the family key. There's nothing you can do about it.